Welcome back to another anime review. Today we're reviewing episode 4, Mahoutsukai no Yome, or The Ancient Magus Bride. And I'm Justin.
What is up? I'm Logan.
And together we're Couch Talk. Before we get into this, as always, we are anime viewers only, so no spoilers down below, and for other anime viewers only that come by. How we do this, we're going to break down and discuss the episode, and at the end give our score for the episode. So, ready to just get into this?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Alright. So, right off in the beginning, we get... This episode definitely gives off a darker tone than the other episodes.
Right.
In my opinion, at least. In the beginning, we get this sick woman. You can tell she's sick, how she's laying in bed, and she creepily asks, like, hey, you have 9 lives, right? As she's talking to her cat. Can I have one of them? And then it goes to the perspective of the cat, and there's this man walking up to it like he's gonna kill the cat or something.
Right.
And I was like, that's not creepy whatsoever.
It did start off, and you're like, whoa.
Whoa. I was like, this is a lot darker than the last episode I watched.
Yeah, last episode was like all nice and cheery. This starts off like, oh shit.
Then we get Chisei waking up on a train, and they are met by a cat who's come by to see them, because I'm guessing their next letter from the church is to come see the king of the cats.
Right.
And this cat, it's like their guide, comes by and meets them, and he's like, and this is where you learn more about how cats in this world do have 9 lives.
Right.
He says he's on his 7th.
And like
So he doesn't have too many left.
Each time they die, they get like wiser and I guess learn to talk eventually. At like the 3rd or 4th or something.
Well, I'm not sure they can talk to humans. I think it's just
right.
They
talk
can talk
to
to mages and stuff.
We also
Or at
learned that
least they
there's
hide it, because they hide it from the one girl.
We also learn there's different things that are not humans, because what they said the train was for non-humans or something.
Yes.
And even the little conductor-looking dude was like a lizard thing.
Yeah, he definitely looks like a lizard. But I really do like how they have this take on the cats and stuff. Like, I've always wondered, like, where did that proverb come from, and why is it so universally accepted that cats have 9 lives? Like, I guess I could Google it to see where it's from, but it is kind of interesting how it's taken.
Yeah, they had a pretty unique take on such a like simple saying.
I wonder if this is why I've had some dumb cats. They were on their first life, and like I had some smart, wise cats. Maybe they were on their 6th or 7th.
Maybe that's it. Maybe one day you'll wake up and it'll just start talking to you.
It's like, damn, this cat's dumb. And the next thing you know, it's not so dumb, and it's like, oh, I'm on my 7th life. I'm smart now. But after that, we get... we do learn that cats kind of have their own kingdom, countries. They have their kings. So they basically have their own civilization, just like man.
Right. They have like their own monarchy.
And certain things, information travels much further in the cat realm. As they say, rumors will spread like across the world instantly almost. So when they meet up with the other cats, they always say like, the white one already knows that she's the bride to Elias.
Oh, yes. Do you think Elias knows what that means? Because earlier, at like the very beginning, he's like, it's time for our 2nd honeymoon. It's not something you like say to your...
Usually you have 1 honeymoon.
Exactly. Maybe he doesn't have like a full understanding of like human marriage, but he just like heard it one time or something.
It's possible. I also want to point out, like, that cat, when he sees Chisei, says, you smell kind of like the mages that I used to know. So, or I used to see around. So that's kind of interesting. It's like, has Elias had other slave Aggies or something like that?
Right.
Kind of brings that up, you kind of think about it like, or do just mages in general have similar smells?
Yeah, it's kind of open-ended like comment. It's like, does he mean there used to be tons of sleigh beggies that came around, or maybe just
Elias
mages in
does
general?
finally pull him off of Chisei there right after he says that.
Right.
And he's like, you're chatty. So I feel like maybe there's a glimpse there that
I'm
goes
gonna say this episode, my suspicions for Elias raised again. Definitely near the end. Like, there's a lot of stuff near the end.
That is true. Then they get past, this woman walks by who definitely seems interested in Chisei.
Right. At first I thought it was the guy from last episode, just how they looked.
Oh,
I was like, is he here to just mess with them again or like help them? But we learn it's not him. But they did look similar when she was walking by with her hood on.
they did a little because of that. You could just see like the hair. But Chisei was like, she looked at me. So then we finally meet the king of cats, Molly, or I guess more like the queen of cats.
Yeah.
And even she's like, "Wow, you guys are an odd pair. Don't seem like a normal marriage couple." And we get a little more glimpse into sorcerers. They don't like sorcerers.
Right.
They say they're kind of lawless, low-life skieves, basically. So I guess they operate. I think mages kind of operate within the church, and then sorcerers might be outside of that.
Sorcerers are probably like lone,
more independent.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why they seem lawless. They probably care more. They probably feel like they're stronger or something than mages.
Right, or they have no rules that bind them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure if you do something questionable, the church is like, no. But as a sorcerer, you can just do it. If it's like, well, if I justify it myself, then it's good.
Exactly. So they don't want to be anywhere near these sorcerers. And this is where we get a little more interesting, where I think cats can only talk to mages. It's because of the little girl, the owner of Molly, comes out. Elias just disappears.
Yeah, he just dips.
He's like, I'm out. And the cats just stop talking. They just sit there in silence.
Yeah.
And it kind of puts Chisei in this odd spot, like, oh, I have to lie. I just saw your cat. That's it. And this is where we get a little more. Elias hates children because even though children don't have magic, they can sense things.
Right. Can I just say?
Yeah.
When he was shadow morphing and like coming out, he looks oddly similar to the corruption later. Like, it looks like it's kind of the same magical
I think that's
form.
why he kind of says he's not suited to take care of the corruption because he's a shadow mage. Basically,
Yeah.
I think because I use shadows. So we do actually learn there's types of mages, I guess, because he's a shadow type.
Right.
And there's other types in here, so I'm guessing there's kind of like light types.
Like maybe like
water,
elemental.
fire.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I know he can use fire and stuff. So I feel like you can use others, but you have a primary magic.
That would be my guess. Like a magic that is your strongest magic.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm guessing we're assuming if they do get married, they're not having kids.
He does hate kids.
So I doubt he doesn't seem like the type that would want kids. So they go off. Well, Elias leaves to investigate something again. And
See, he's just why?
He just leaves.
It's just weird. Like last episode, they talked about how sleigh beggies are in danger and people are after him, and then he wants to leave her by herself again. Those cats ain't gonna save her. Like, she's not gonna save herself. She barely knows magic. Like, why do you keep leaving her, dude?
And then we get the story of a super fucking dark story from the King of Cats.
Of the cat killer.
Yes, and it's not. They're not really discussing too much right here, but I'm sure that's Matthew, the girl's
It's
husband.
definitely Matthew. That's
think her
the
name's
vibe I
Mina.
picked up.
And because Mina's like, give me your extra life, and I think that led to Matthew trying to save her. So he's trying to find a way to
Maybe
pass on a cat life.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe he killed cats to try and preserve his wife's life.
Yeah, I don't think he was doing it out of fun.
Right.
He was just murdering, trying to experiment, and of course, the cats were like, "Holy shit, this guy's just fucking slaughtering us."
Yeah.
So they're like, "All right, form a cat army," and they go and just maul him to bits, and they eat him and all this stuff.
They're like, please stop. This is.
And that causes a curse, which is, in my opinion, kind of bullshit. The cats were just trying to protect themselves and retaliate, but now every so often they have to give up. They have to sacrifice several of their lives to hold the corruption at bay. It's like, that's some fucking dog shit right there, man. Like,
that's some BS.
I was trying to protect my cat kind, and now all of a sudden we're cursed.
Yeah.
So they have to give up their lives to keep the corruption at bay, because it'll kill both humans and cats indiscriminately, is what they said.
Right. I'm guessing this is why Elias was called here, to just get rid of this corruption.
Yes. So we get that, and it's just a corruption of souls. There's like a whole bunch of souls, and they're getting corrupted. Then we get kind of interrupted rudely by some sorcerer girl teleporting in there.
Well, before that, I just want to touch on real quick. The queen cat was basically telling her like she wants to get rid of this corruption to like protect the girl.
Yes.
And she's like, she even said like, I'll risk my life. Basically, she said even if it kills me, because she said I can't imagine otherwise, because she's like a motherly figure. And then of course it cuts to Chisei imagining her mom, which I don't think Chisei can relate to what she said at all, because her mother would never do something like that.
Yeah, her mother did the exact opposite. She was like, you know what? Screw my daughter, I'm killing myself.
Yeah, like, because Chisei was like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, what mother fails to protect her own child?
Yeah.
So and that's when Chisei's like, yeah.
She's like, oh,
good point out. Good point out, man.
If you say so. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but...
Yeah, that's what she's like, yeah, I guess. And this, back to the sorcerer teleports in, just dumps Chisei in the lake. Chisei just ends up in lakes and ponds and stuff. Like,
I know, like...
floating down.
It's so weird. Maybe her magic is gonna be like water.
Like a water focus or something.
Since she's always in the water.
And this is where she meets Mina, the core of the corruption. And
which was also the sick girl from the past.
The beginning. And we're learning that she's again sick, and she's trying to figure out how, and Matthew's trying to do everything he can to try to fix her. He's like, I'm gonna go ask the sorcerer that comes by in town for medicine. He's trying to make sure she stays healthy. He's like, keep sleeping, don't just stay in bed, and I will do what I can to help
you. Can tell he was a good guy, so like something drove him to go kill cats. Like, I don't think he did it out of bad intention or for fun.
Yeah, and like Mina says, it's her fault. I think because Mina was so attached to her cat that she's like, oh, you have 9 lives, and it started, I think, messing with her own mind because she's dying, and she's like,
maybe.
If I had, she keeps saying, like, if I had 9 lives like you.
Maybe that sorcerer who came to town also said something to him. Like, oh,
that is true.
Maybe you can transfer cat lives to her or something.
And Mina whispers something to Chisei that we later find out is she's asking Chisei to kill herself and Matthew.
Right.
That way to end the corruption and end the suffering.
It's kind of a pretty bold request. I'm sure Chisei was like, wait, what?
Wait, what? You sure about that? So Elias once again kind of pulls her out of the water.
See, he's just so like he always comes out like, oh,
I
here.
feel like he's trying to give her enough distance to learn things on her own and kind of like give her some independence, some learning thought without him always being there. And I think he's trying to give her a sense of independency or herself without her thinking she always needs Elias there.
Right. Because I think this is what the third episode where something bad has happened and he had to show up.
Yeah.
Because there was the fairies, the dragon guy. I can't remember his name.
And now
this one.
Yes. So he's basically like dumping this huge responsibility on Chisei. Like, all right, I'm gonna need you to clear all the corruption,
cleanse this.
Yeah, so he's like, and he gives her some, I guess like supposed to be like a makeshift wand, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
For
this part was
cleansing ceremony.
This part was very scenic. I really liked all of it. Like the dimmed light, her just it was very well done.
Yes.
Very well animated, and it looked super good.
And we do get the sorcerers are watching over them. They're just sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
And we learn there's a second one, and it's not just the girl in that scene.
Exactly.
And we get the Ariel from the beginning episode coming in here. Like, I was like, oh man, what's gonna happen now?
For real.
But the Ariel's just here to help with the cleansing, which I don't know if the cleansing is a little more peaceful way to deal with the corruption, kind of like to ease the souls.
Right, I'd guess
and
so.
Not a violent cleansing where it just destroys the souls.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's a couple of ways you can take it.
I'm guessing. We don't know actually. They didn't even really. They just said you have to cleanse it, and she's like, okay. But
she's going out there, and she's like, normally they would have to do it with their own magic, and chant, but she doesn't need to this time. Which is kind of interesting. Like,
yeah, which I'm not.
Does she not need to because she's strong?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what she meant, or Elias meant by that. There's a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions involving Elias.
Yeah, Chisei's obviously going through a lot of questions too, but she's going through a lot of questions about Mina and Matthew. Like, how do they end up how they are? Like, I feel like she's seen glimpses because, like, in the beginning she had that dream, and she woke up from that dream,
right?
Because she could sense the cats and smell the cats, and it's like, you know, they were peaceful. How do they end up into this whole blob of?
I feel like more so Matthew, because the woman still seems like still not evil. Like, she seems pretty pure in a sense.
Yeah. And once again, nothing goes smoothly. We have the sorcerers come in and interrupt the cleansing, and the new sorcerer's name is Renfred, I believe.
Yes, it's
Renfred. And I don't think we learned what the girl sorcerer's name is.
No, they don't say it. We do learn that, I guess, Elias has another name?
Yes, he does. I feel like now it's Pilum Muralis?
Murialis.
And I don't know. Now, alright, is this his real name, or is it his mage name? Like,
right.
As Elias, can't remember the last name on Elias.
Ainsworth?
Yeah, Ainsworth. Elias Ainsworth. Is that his real name, and then Pilum Morales is his mage name, or is it swapped?
Yeah.
Or is Elias just a Elias?
And then whatever name the dragon guy called him too, whatever that could be. Because remember, he called him I can't remember. But he called him something different too, which we thought that was his mage name.
Sure, we know he's the Thorn Mage. which is kind of weird how he gets the Thorn Mage when he's a shadow kind of focus mage.
It's kind of, these names seem like not related to him. It's weird.
It's definitely, this I think is starting to increase your suspicion.
Yes, because first Renfred calls Chisei, he's like, oh, is this your little test subject? Which Chisei's like, wait, what? A test subject? Which is kind of weird, because he kind of has a point, even from this episode. Like Elias was like, here, go cleanse that. Like, I know you don't know really anything about magic, but go try it. And you're like, is he using her as a test subject?
Yes, but also I feel like the sorcerers aren't good guys, because they're like, hey, we need that blob. Like, we need the corruption for something.
Right.
Like, what do you need it for? To go off and kill a whole bunch of people?
Yeah, I do pick up that they're, like, kind of bad.
Maybe corruption isn't actually as bad as they think it is, and they can use it for some good. Or they just... Well, he does have several scars across his face, so...
Yeah, he doesn't look
never
like...
a good sign.
He doesn't look like a nice guy. Also, since we're speaking about looks, I think he's missing an arm. Because when there was a shot where it was behind him and his sleeve like blew in the wind, like there was nothing in his sleeve. It was at 21:53. If you wanna.
Yeah. Let me scrolling through here.
Because
I see what you're saying.
It looks like there's nothing in there.
Yes, it does look like he's missing an arm.
And they never show that hand either. They only show his hand with...
Yeah, all his shots are basically from, like, chest up.
Yeah, and his other side.
Shoulders, yes. And then... I feel like he's trying to manipulate Chisei as well so he can get the corruption. So there's definitely manipulation going on both sides here.
Yeah, I think he's been trying to, like, make it look like it's worse than it seems, but I think he's also, like, kind of bringing up decent points. Or at least, like, decent concerns. Like, is she being used? He even mentions, like, by the way, did you tell her what happens to sleigh beggies?
Yeah, it ends in death, is what he says. But we kind of got it. I don't know... Because when he met the dragon guy, man, it's been a week, so I don't remember the name.
It's something with an L, I think.
Yeah, it's Lindell, or something like that. That's right. He even says, like, if they don't control their magic, it takes away their life force.
Right.
So I don't know if it's inevitable for slave baggies to die, or if they just learn to control their magic, they can last a lot longer and have a full life.
Right.
And I feel like it's not that... Chisei doesn't really know how to control her magic yet, which doesn't seem like Elias is trying to help her control the magic.
Exactly.
He's just like, go out there and do it, which might lead to her dying quicker. But we know he doesn't want that to happen, because he told Lindell, like, hey, I spent a lot of money, I did a lot of work to get her.
Yeah, Elias has a weird trial by fire approach to... It's like, you go learn things on your own, go get kidnapped, go learn these lessons, go try magic. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, exactly. So there is something going on there a little bit. I don't think it's inevitable that she dies because she's a slave baggy. I think if she wildly uses her magic over and over, yes, she is going to die.
Right.
Like, she's going to die no matter what, whether she uses it or not, but it can cause her to die quicker, which is the big deal.
Yeah.
So Elias has been hiding that from her.
I was going to say, Elias definitely has a lot of explaining to do. At least, like, whenever he gets the chance, because they'll have to deal with this first, but when him and Chisei get some talk time, he needs to start explaining. Because I'm very suspicious now. Like, I know I shouldn't trust the words of a, crazy, scarred sorcerer, but I feel like he's not completely lying.
Yeah, it's like, and we're still not sure about Elias. If he's a great guy or manipulative guy. He might have just, hasn't gotten around to, he hasn't explained a whole lot to her. So there's obviously this whole list of explanations period about this world.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure this is going to be enough to stop Chisei from trusting him. Because first of all, she was already on the brink of suicide, depression, and all this. That I don't think learning about her death will affect her too much as it would other people.
Right, because he's honestly the only person there for her now. So like,
yes, like she's obviously getting attached to him. She was sleeping on his lap in the beginning of the episode. She obviously thinks of him.
She doesn't want to
as
disappoint
her only
him.
family. Yeah, she doesn't want to disappoint
Because she
him,
mentioned
so.
that. She's like, if I fail, will he be upset or something?
Exactly. So there is a strong connection there that's building that I don't feel like this Renfred will be able to separate that fully and get it to go his way.
Right, but I'm just very... I don't even know if he's interested in Chisei. I think he's just like, hey, step back from this corruption.
Yeah, I think he just wants the corruption, but he's trying to... But Chisei can cleanse it, so I feel like he's trying to...
Yeah, kind of...
Tear something there, so that way she kind of has a mental breakdown.
Yeah, and him and Elias obviously have history. He's calling them by names we haven't heard before, and even he's like, I'm surprised you remember my name.
So yeah, exactly. And that's basically how it ends. Probably the strongest ending of the series, I think. So far.
It was a good cliffhanger.
Yeah, a lot better than the dragon one.
Yeah, this one actually, you felt like, oh shit, like, what's gonna happen? Which is good.
So. You wanna go into the scores now?
Sure.
All right. What do you got?
I'll give it an 8. I feel it's pretty solid. I mean, I feel like the other episodes were a bit more interesting. Probably because I'm not a cat person. If it was dogs, though, no. But I do feel the other episodes were a lot interesting, or not a lot, but I still enjoyed this episode. Like, it kind of opened up a different view, like, or a different, more. It opened up the setting a bit more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The music's always on point, even though I'll say that every episode.
Exactly.
I just love the music. I really liked it. Really picked up at the end. It got me like, oh, I really want to see what happens. Like, I really want to hear this conversation between Elias and Renfred, and I want to hear him explain himself to Chisei, like, what's going on. Like, I just enjoyed it. Like, this anime is just very enjoyable to just sit and watch. Like, it doesn't have to have like some super crazy twist or anything. It's just,
yeah, exactly.
It's like, it's straightforward, but it does it well.
All right, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I feel like it's the weakest one so far, but that doesn't mean. But it's still a damn good episode. It's just the others I felt like were great. And it kind of has that expectation thing where it's like, it doesn't quite meet it. It doesn't feel as good, but it's still really good. So I do like their take on this world of cats and like their lives and stuff. It's very interesting how they go around that. Again, like you said, the music's great. The artwork is always fantastic. The scenery is always perfect. The lighting is always good. And I just really liked the actual whole ending bit, like the interaction between the characters.
It was great.
I'm trying to think about some other things I should bring up in there, but I feel like 7.5, maybe, yeah, 7.5 is strong, I feel like. So yeah, it was a very solid episode. We get to learn more about everything, and it's just great. I think that does it for our reviews then.
That's it. You know what time it is. Give us the spiel. Give us the spiel.
Alright, again, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. Sharing the video always helps as well. But likes truly do help. It lets us get higher up in like pages and stuff like that. Be sure to comment below. As always, the interaction on every episode has been great.
Yeah, we love seeing people discuss the episode.
Yes, we read all the comments. Not that there's a whole lot to read at the moment.
Please no spoilers either.
Yes, again, no spoilers. A lot of anime viewers only. But clarifications of stuff in the episode is fine, especially if we miss something. You can always mention something like that. That's fine. And just, have fun in the comment section. So, yeah, I think that does it for this episode. So until next time, peace out.
See ya.